ain't here to negotiate. Unity is all we need. Future's ours at God's speed. Can't fall for no division. Divide and conquer is their mission. So they hid our history, but now we know our legacy. Yeah. Africa, the foundation. Black wealth for generations. Home is where the heart is. They can't do nothing about this. It's the awakening. They ain't ready for the reckoning. No Wakanda, this is Africa. Black wealth, this the black Mecca. Elders kept the dream alive. Gave us vision, so we gon' thrive. Free your mind, don't fall behind. The real truth ain't hard to find. Corporations in cooperation. The new Africa in operation. Building the homeland, calling our people to the motherland. Allow it, this is destiny. We here now, it's reality, yeah. It's the African dream. Melanin is the light.
Welcome to the Africa Must Unite podcast. A podcast dedicated to inspiring African people worldwide to rise up, organize, and struggle for Pan-Africanism, a unified, liberated socialist Africa, the only permanent solution to the exploitation and oppression of African people, no matter where they happen to be born or to live in the world. Now please, welcome the hosts of Africa Must Unite.
Building the black Mecca, calculated like algebra. 2050 is the future, bro. What? Yeah, eyes open, we see the vision. Building Africa, the only mission. Like Umar, if I thunder, we be Pan-African all day. The time is now, this is a moment. We ain't asleep, we ain't dumb. All day, every day, we building our shit.
Pan-African greetings. I'm Mama D.
And I'm Sister Tasha. And this is the Africa Must Unite podcast. And we are the Pan-African Revolutionary Socialist Party, also known as PRSP.
All right. I can't believe we're here once again, and that's beautiful. And I just want to read, Tasha, the intro to all of these 2026 podcasts that we're doing this year. It's just a quick statement that I'll make here. It starts like this. All this year, the focus of our Africa Must Unite podcast is on the theme of our 2026 calendar. Socialism, it is the title. Socialism, an imperative for a liberated, unified Africa and for the liberation of all global Africans. It is a focus that we thought was very relevant since many asked the following questions. Why can't we have a unified Africa without socialism? And others ask, why can't we have socialism within each of the 54 countries in Africa without unifying? Our calendar addresses both questions and offer evidence of the advantages that global Africans will realize once Africa is unified and socialist. And examples abound, including food security, guaranteed quality housing, guaranteed health care, an education system designed as a tool for liberation, not a commodity reserved for the privileged. It includes the benefits that will be realized for workers, women, youth, and for the global exploited and oppressed. So we are very hopeful that you will listen to these podcasts, each of them once a month throughout this year. So that kind of lets people know why we're doing the topic that we're doing. It gives that background to it. But as always, before we do anything in talking about particularly our topic this month, March 2026, the topic is food security under unified socialist Africa. But before we get to that, we like to always start with some important dates in the history of African people and other progressive people. And because, Tasha, you know, we are celebrating International Women's Month. March is always International Women's Month. And we have quite a few important dates regarding African women on our calendar. So I want to highlight those dates this month. And the first one is this one. On March the 2nd, always is celebrated Angolan Women's Day. On the 5th of March, there was a strike by African women textile workers in racist South Africa in protest against slave labor and conditions. That was in 1960. On the 8th of March, Harriet Tubman, slave liberator and scout and many other things, inspirational person, was born in 1820. And on March 10th, in 1913, Harriet Tubman died. So we're celebrating her birth and her death, both in March. On the 13th of March, Lillian Ngoyi, member of the Executive Committee of the African National Congress, ANC of Azania, died in 1980. And on the 14th of March, Fannie Lou Hamer died in 1977. On the 16th of March, the Organization of Mozambican Women was formed in 1973. And there's so many, but the last one I want to mention is Shirley Graham Du Bois. Died on March 27th. She's author, Pan-Africanist, and very much a comrade of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And she and two other women played such an important part in his life, not only in terms of when he was in power and he was president of Ghana, but after he was overthrown, they played an important part in his life. And I'm talking about Shirley Graham Du Bois, Julia Wright, and Christine X. Johnson. Three women who were very helpful, who he always communicated with once he was overthrown, before and once he was overthrown, and when he was living in Conakry. And he would write and ask them the opinion about certain things, because they were all three Pan-Africanists. And one of them, Julia Wright, wrote to him during the whole Black Power movement to ask him to write something connecting the struggles that were going on in Africa and those in the African diaspora. And so he did. He wrote the Spectra of Black Power. And when he drafted it, he sent it to her for her feedback. And so I just wanted to give an example of the importance of these women. And of course, Shirley Graham Du Bois was the head of Ghana's television when Nkrumah was in power. Christine X. Johnson, wrote about him and knew him since his Lincoln days in the U.S. So these women go back a long ways, and I just wanted to highlight them since we're in this month of celebrating women. So Tasha, that's what I have.
No, that's important, Mama D, because, they always say there's always a powerful man, but right on the side of that powerful men are powerful women, too.
Mm-hmm. Or vice versa. Change it around. So, that man sometimes is behind that powerful African woman. So anyway, this is a good conversation, this month of March, and dealing with that and dealing with what we are coming to, and that's that whole business of hunger and famine in Africa and in the African diaspora, and what food security will mean under unified socialist Africa. But Tasha, I know you want to read that section that we have in our calendar.
Yeah, so coming to our calendar, looking at the sub-theme of food. Food is the foundation of human life. Every person, regardless of their class, nationality, or gender, should have access to healthy foods as a basic human right. But this is not the case under global capitalism, especially for Africans. Only a unified and socialist Africa will ensure food security for global Africans. Under global capitalism, Africans throughout the world are starving to death, and most of them are children. In Sudan, famine worsens as the civil war sparked by the imperialist interest throughout our homeland intensifies. According to the PBS NewsHour in August 2025, it is the largest hunger crisis in the world. Mozambique is another case in point. Since January 2025, over 95,000 people have fled northern Mozambique, creating a devastating humanitarian crisis. Food is urgently needed. That's from August 2025 UN News. Also, in the African diaspora, food insecurity runs rampant. Haitians are in despair with 5.7 million people suffering from a lack of food. And that's from Humanitarian Aid, July 2025. Under a unified socialist Africa, food will be guaranteed for global Africans, those at home and those throughout the African diaspora. Socialism is an economic system diametrically opposed to capitalism, in which the major means of production are owned and controlled collectively by the people for the benefit of the people. And because of the vast wealth found throughout our homeland, a unified socialist Africa will guarantee food security for all its people throughout the globe. Brazil is sparking socialist programs like Zero Hunger and Global Alliance Against Hunger. Just think about what a unified socialist Africa can do for its people and for exploited and oppressed people throughout the world. We must build a unified socialist Africa where we weave together humanism, treating others the way we would like to be treated, collectivism, working together for the benefit of our people, and egalitarianism, ensuring people have an equal chance to develop to their fullest potential. By doing so, we will ensure food security for all global Africa.
And that's beautiful. And you know, we're going to read a piece that talks about that's food security for all global Africans throughout the world and for others. That's the